their gun, grab their gun, bang, 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 bang. Dead cops. Just a whole bunch of dead cops. You're standing in a fucking huddle, you fucking idiots. So if I was a terrorist and I was down there like the guy that got kicked in the stomach, the French fucking Palestinian Arab crazy cunt on Saturday night that was saying all that stuff about the Indigenous Australians out the front. The QPS responded only when they saw me take my glasses off and walk up and chase him out on the street to punch the fuck out of him. The Aboriginal guys, they're standing there. They're holding the line. I said, fuck this. I said, okay, this guy's going, you look at your wide-nosed fucking Aboriginals. I'm from Cherbourg, cunts, look at you. You fucking wide-nosed Aboriginal, ugly Aboriginal cunts. And I was like, my mum's Bidjara people from Charleville. Did you hear me, cunt? Did you fucking hear me? Yeah. I said, okay. Now I'm going to fucking kick your ass, cunt. And I walked over and I put my fucking glasses down and I walked back and I pushed out between both the guys and I was like, okay, let's go, cunt. And he fucking, the policeman ran over and arrested him. So what did the policeman bust you for? Probably like drunk and disorderly. Did they say, oh, there's a terrorist attack and you're doing crazy shit in Maroochydore, which is essentially the Sunshine Coast version of Bondi? This is a Sunshine Coast version of Bondi. There are more radical fucking Muslim people up here than there is down there. Fucking trust me, because I got in trouble for saying that stuff and then had to deal with all these fucking radical crazies coming here. Muslim mental cases. Or they're fucking people that are appeasing them. So, this is it. You're in a city state with somebody who is really, Terry Landsberg is somebody who's looks old, who's old as shit, who's got some type of comb over, who's pretending that he's young. He's a fucking fool. He's a surfer. He's a former auto electrician and he's the mayor of this city. So you put somebody that isn't a serious person in charge of governance. You take somebody like Jason Hunt, who is not a normal fucking person. I had to tell him that he had to do the Photoshop on his teeth and actually go and get his teeth cleaned when he was an MP and that he had to polish his boots. That was the beginning of our argument. And he's a former military policeman and corrections boss. I had to teach him what Chris Jones taught me. Brush your teeth, mate. You know, Chris Jones said to me as an officer, right, this is what these people don't understand. Jones said to me, when we were out in the bush, I'd be brushing my teeth, I'd be polishing my shoes, I'd be doing all this fucking stuff. People would just be looking at me like, you're a fucking head case, dude. And they wouldn't know why. And you know why I'd be doing it, Dave? I said, why? He goes, it's psychology. As an officer, you always have to lead. From a psychological perspective, you always have to lead. So when all of those people are there and we're under fire and we're in trouble and stuff like that, and you pull out your Kiwi polish and you start to polish your boots in a time of, and then having a chat with everybody, quickly putting some polish on your boots when everybody's fucking chain smoking, then there's a psychological advantage to that. Like when people come in and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Okay. I take my glasses off. Everybody in Queensland knows, oh shit, this is probably going to result in manslaughter. That's why the cops ran the other day when they saw me take my glasses off. Okay, if he's been pushed to the point that he's going to kill with his bare hands, we've let it happen. We've probably sent the CIs there to start it after the terror attack. So this is it. This is why I had to do the FOI, the Freedom of Information and all this stuff, because like Deegan won't stop. The QPS that have gotten in for you, they won't stop. Even if they are now acting as terrorists and their whole operation is a rogue, hostile operation where they're fucking wasting your taxpayers' dollars. So you're like, why are you complaining on Facebook every day and like fighting Australia well, it's not that I'm fighting you. It's two New Zealand cops that are cunts. They decided that they had the authority to fucking start all of this shit. So the reason why, like before I wanted to be QPS, fuck QPS. I want to be an Australian Federal Police Officer. That's what I wanted to say. So from the age of about 14 or whatever, they gave us these, we got these almanac type of things. I don't know how else to fucking explain it, but it had all the jobs in there and shit, right? And then it had like prerequisites and stuff, and they were really well put together. I don't even think they've got them anymore, but it had like, you have to do this to do that. You need this qualification to do this and all this shit, right? And so I looked at it like, I decided Air Force Defense Guard, I wanted to do that, right? Which is like a military police type of thing. And then to lead to a, to some type of overseas deployment where I could study in either Hong Kong or Vietnam or somewhere like that, where I could study the language, become native, and then come back to Australia and become an Australian Federal Police Officer for Canberra. So if you have a look at my emails and at like my, like, you know, I'm somebody who writes out my dreams and stuff, right? If you've seen me write out my dreams and my objectives, and if you've seen my notes from when I was 14, that's when this idea started to take shape. And so wherever I'm at on anything, right, I don't see it like, how am I compared to what Australia thinks about me or this, or what the QPS thinks about me. I've always been thinking, as my friend Ben Parsons from the New South Wales Police knows, that I told him, I've done like bits and pieces with the AFP, with my AFP friends, because, and I've done all of these other things because I want to be AFP. I've always wanted to be AFP my whole fucking life. And it's not like, AFP, I've always wanted to be AFP. Like, I mean, I can say it with a steady fucking voice at any time. I've always wanted to be Australian Federal Police since I was young, since I was 14. I'm 44 now, so that's 30 years. So for 30 years, everything that I've been doing has been with the objective to eventually become an Australian Federal Police officer. So this is why I find it, and I have experience. I have more experience than our Prime Minister. And see here locally, this city-state that Terry Landsberg and these people have encouraged, they've encouraged these Australians to think that coming up and laying a fucking hand on me or starting trouble with me is beneficial for Australia. Not that, like, the first thing that happens is I report it to Clayton Williams, I report it to Eric Phillips, I report it to fucking, and this is it, Tim Wing, right? My boss up in fucking, up at the Dewporth. You have to go back to Vietnam for that, right? I lead Kung Chau Phan Dong from Australia, bro. That's a Vietnamese government officers. I fucking run it from Australia. If I wanted trouble with anybody from Australia in Vietnam during Tet, this is the time that it's going to fucking come, and this is the time they're going to do something. So I just want, like, everybody that I work with to understand, if you're going over to Vietnam and you're starting trouble with me, even if you're Vietnamese, like, you're in trouble, eh? Because these cops here, they started a huge problem for a Commonwealth government, the federal government, the US government, and then they've been lying to you at the Dewporth because their customers there, like, they have authority. They've fucking blown $500,000. So, Tim, do you want that bill to be put on you or Clayton? Do you want to take the $500,000 taxpayer bill for investigating me that these police have paid and that they're trying to dodge, and that's why they're doing these operations at our work, because they're trying to get away. They're trying to get away with the fact that they wasted $500,000. So how do they waste $500,000? They put it into their own pocket. They convinced you that they had to come after me, and then they used that $500,000. They put it down on paper, and then John Marnie's drawn it and put it in everybody's pocket and all that type of stuff. So all of these cops are very wealthy for people that are on the money that they're on here, right? They're living like millionaires. It's because they're all switched on. They're all switched on to these deals. Like, it's like Truman. It's like the Truman era, right? Where they can just buy you a fucking house and stuff like that when you're the president and stuff. That's what's going on here. So most of the people that I know that are New Zealanders, that are white, mixed blood or whatever, mixed blood, right? They understand that Pakeha is like a white pig or it's like a white something, right? And it's the language of the Kiwis, the Maori, about the white people. I'm not talking about mixed race Maori people that are predominantly white. I'm talking about European Pakeha that have no fucking native blood at all. And like with me, I have Aboriginal blood. And so my song, We Carry Each Name, it's trying to unite like from Hawaii to the desert in Australia. Nobody's ever written a song about it before, and they're not united, right? And this is it about the Kiwis, right? And the Maoris, you have no claim over Australia, over the east coast of Australia, okay? You live relatively close. You couldn't create a boat big enough to bring you guys over here to have any claim over it, right, for 46,000 years. You all can come over here when you got cheap flights, bro. Fucking lot of years, dude. Right? So I'll say that we do have my friend Tony, his daughter was kicked out of Australia. So that's why Tony had to come after me because, his daughter was a crackhead. And, my poor daughter was kicked out of Australia for being a crackhead. This is it. The Kiwis, yes, we do have to sometimes, we do have to kick your ass sometimes. And you are not, this is it, right? I'm not talking about Australians that come from other countries that come here. Kiwis are tapped onto our Commonwealth, onto our Anzac thing. We have to tolerate them. They're on the tail end of us. So when you come over here and you tell us you're the boss, cunt, you're nothing. You're not English. You're not American. You're not Australian. You're just a fucking Kiwi. You're nothing. And most of you are friends with all the BRICS nation people, and your dirty left-wing Jacinta Ardern politics are what created that fucking shooting. So Deegan's been saying that people like Dave McMillan shot an Australian shot people up in New Zealand one time in a mosque. So that just that's the way it's got to be. So we need to put $500,000 into that fucking ridiculous idea. Oh yeah, I'm getting a 45% increase on my salary when I'm coming to this country. It's a fucking rot, and you're paying for it. David Christopher's going to pay for it with his fucking whole career. So look at him, right? Cool dude. He should be normal, always plays like Dean Martin and shit, but how does he fucking act? Like me, that motherfucker rose to prominence in 2003 as the youngest fucking something in Queensland, like I did with Scarred Hope the same motherfucking year. He and I were like the youngest blah blah in fucking Queensland history type of thing. Both of us have been. So with him, instead of thinking about long term and about my audience and how my audience and his audience and how the Greens and how the Liberals and the Nationals and the fucking ALP and everything, we can all actually get together and fucking work and get things done. Because that group of people that I met up there in Nambour, if we were all together working on these problems, Australia wouldn't have problems. But what we do is we get together for 2 weeks, 10 days in pre-polling, and then we go and all the voting season's over, and then we spend the rest of the time sniping at each other, acting like fucking cunts, and not solving anything because our side didn't get what it wanted. Or our side now has what it wants, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. So it's like myopic. You're dealing with myopic motherfuckers all the time. And my process, they think is like schizophrenia. It's like, man, this is the debriefing process that, like when I send these debriefs, right? Eric is used to sitting in front of me and listening to me doing this shit. So you and your fucking people in the community, stupid old fucking grey granny cunts and stuff, and dudes and the Volkstrom and stuff, right? Man, there's not many Germans in this town, but we just look at the fucking French. The French, there's serial killer French people in this community. There's serial killers in Belgians. There's serial killers. Pierre and his friends are fucking serial killers, man. And if you say that Pierre's friends aren't serial killers, man, you're a fucking liar. So yeah, I just want to give you, like, you guys are always talking about sex and stuff like that, right? So you sent me this big document about how I'm a cuck or something like that, right? In a denial letter. It's the most crazy thing that I've ever seen. But let me break the news to you. Cucks are people that have small penises that can't do the job. Okay? So I call myself the Boccarina Buster. Do you know what that means? It means I'm a bull. Do you know what a bull is, dude? A bull is a dude that bangs the chick who's got a dude like you, Deegan Pindick, like you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, not you in your particular situation. You're a rubbish individual, but I'm just saying, and the people around you, you're rubbish individuals. I've seen what you've been doing. I've been at my work and I've seen you do your make the segregated section, then make me clean up the cake and stuff, dude. You made me clean up this cake and stuff, and then you came up to me thanking me like, Deegan he's a psychosexual pervert. So you can see all the stuff they wrote is their perversion that they have imagined they're projecting on people. So once we catch them and all these things, like I have red-handed, and go back, have a look at them and have a look at what they actually represent, and then think everything that he said about them, there wasn't just a kernel of truth, it was fucking 100% true. So Anthony Albanese has to do something. There has to be a police counter-terrorist presence on our streets. And I'm just seeing, like yesterday here, people like Terry Landsberg are hanging the Caloundra citizens out as bait for a mass shooter. You're being hung out as bait by Deegan James Grime. That's what he's been trying to do with us and us together. I've been here saving you for 6 years when he's been trying to say that I'm the person that's here to hurt you. He's telling the security forces to not protect you on Sunday, and he's ignoring the fact that 14 people were murdered last week, and he's leaving you as lambs to the slaughter, Caloundra. And so is Terry Landsberg. Why? Because they're probably out having a beer. Definitely they're out having a beer. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan Purdy. Did I upset you while you were having a scotch or something? You know what I mean? You're all fucking drunks, man. Okay? You're all fucking pissheads, man. I haven't had a hangover in fucking 11 years because I don't drink, because it would fuck with my dick. I'm a man, okay? So something has to be fixed in this fucking command. John Marnie has to be removed, the superintendent, because we see his wastage is creating opportunities for it's giving terrorists windows of opportunity to attack Maroochydore, to attack Caloundra, places that are similar to Bondi. This is not me speaking theoretically. We've already had that attack. So now it's not like let's ignore the problem again and let's hang our community out as bait to be shot dead like John Marnie is doing and like the people in this community are doing. And you see, like Andrew Wallace, instead of meeting with me, he starts all this trouble in the background. Yeah, and so this is it, man. Well, what is my objective? My objective is, through the Australian federal and the US federal system right now, is to get all of these people fired for doing the using lawfare against me, like how the deep state did against Trump. And these people in Australia are doing it to me because they see me as a proxy and a cutout to Trump. So if you're rich and you think that you have the rights over me and all that type of stuff, and you have an ego and narcissism, that's great. Just how you're going to feel when your brains are over on the fucking wall and you can't think anymore because you're fucking dead. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you guys have to start thinking. And now in Australia, the Indigenous people, the other day, we were fucking angry, man. The Aboriginals, man, we're ready to, like, these guys, I don't know if they know what I'm like with a nulla. But with nullahs, I'm fucking bad. I'm deadly with a nulla. So if all of the Aboriginals in Australia, we took our nullahs and then we went and we took these nullahs and we hit the coppers in the head, or we hit the government in the head, right? We could take this country in 24 hours with our nullahs. So that's why I don't give a fuck about the guns. And it's for Aboriginals too. If we hold a white man down and get everybody to watch while we strike him in the back of the head with this, then that's revenge for 230 years of colonization. Get your priorities straight, Anthony Albanese, or step down. We need real leadership in this country. We need somebody who is acting like has a GS-G9 type of mentality, right? We need gendarmes on the street. We don't need washed up housing commission area politician attitude of Radio Birdman's going to save the day. Good morning.